KCAL rocks off, something we always look forward to. It is time to do some sports on a Thursday with our guy Pep. What's up, Pep?
What is up, guys? Happy Thursday morning to all the KCAL rockers out there. I got to be honest, though. So I would say about this time last week, I was super optimistic about a lot of sports, including local sports. And then I guess in the last 24, 48 hours, man, it's a little depressing because we heard all these, these schools and different athletic conferences that we'll get to, starting to go either online and some canceling their fall sports season. So I'm like, oh man, what is going on? It's only May 14th. Like, come on, let's give it a little more time. But I know we'll all see the other side of this. We're all gonna, do our part, and the longer we, do the whole stay at home and social distancing and the masks, and we can all accelerate this process. But man, it was still kind of deflating because I thought, at least sports wise, we were getting so close to some promising restarts to some major league seasons and some local stuff as well.
I think that it is going to happen, but also a lot of this right now that we're hearing is the cover your ass stuff. They have to cover their ass just in case. So it does sound depressing when they're talking about a bailout plan. It's just I think they have to have that stuff in place to move forward. I actually think it may be a good thing, Pep.
Yeah, I think you're right, Patrick. I think obviously nobody wants to be, have the finger pointed at them at the end of the day, saying, "Well, you guys started early, and look, now you've got positive cases." Nobody wants to be that guy or that league.
Well, we did a story yesterday about the Washington Nationals pitcher who says, "Look, I want to be back there playing as much as anybody else, but here are my 5 concerns." And he listed out 5 really viable concerns that are things that the leagues really need to look into before opening up.
Sounds like he needs to be in charge of it because he covered all his bases. At first I was like, that's his ball player talking about, and I was like, those are very good questions.
Yeah, there's again a lot of questions, not a lot of answers at this point. I think even Mike Trout brought up, let's say baseball does some sort of a thing where all the teams are in one spot or in these pods at least, and you're kind of quarantined. You just go to the ballpark and the hotel, and that's pretty much it. Well, Mike Trout's wife is due to have their first child this summer.
Right.
What does that mean? Can he just leave, and then when he comes back, does he have to quarantine for like 2 weeks before he re-enters with the team, like into their clubhouse?
Right.
Nobody knows what that looks like.
How often are you testing everybody, and how many tests is that? And it's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, so anyways, we do got some stuff to get to, and some of it's pretty good, some of it's not so good if you're a sports fan, but we'll give it to you nonetheless. And the Rams' new uniforms, we'll get to that too. Some are saying it's good, some are saying it's not so good either. So we'll talk about the LA Rams' new NFL uniforms as well. It's all brought to you by Matheson Gas. They are the gas professionals. 3 locations across the Inland Empire: Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, Riverside as well. So if you need gas, propane, the CO2, whatever you might need for your local business here in the Inland Empire, they can help. That's mathesongas.com. Visit the website, hop online first, check them out, give them a call, one of their 3 locations, and see if they can help you out. And that day will come when we'll be in the backyard grilling with our friends again. If you need that propane to refill that tank for your barbecue grill in the backyard, they can do that too. That's Matheson Gas. MathesonGas.com is the website. So I guess the good news is, not too far from here, in the state of Arizona, they are going to reopen all professional sports as of this Saturday. So if let's say the Arizona Diamondbacks wanted to play, or maybe Major League Baseball would put, a good chunk of Major League Baseball teams in Arizona to begin the season. All that can happen now because Arizona said, let's go. Saturday, we are good to go.
Well, hey, they just happen to have the awesome spring training facilities all over the freaking place, and hotel rooms, and the possibility of handling all this. I could see it working out.
That's what they're saying. This could open the door for Major League Baseball to actually try that plan. It's always going to be a pie-in-the-sky thing, but this is at least a domino out of the way to maybe go that direction.
Now, again, we've heard every scenario. We've heard 1,000,001 scenarios for Major League Baseball to start the season, and it looks like the target weekend would be like 4th of July weekend when they would start the season. But with that, they have said, at least according to one of their plans, one of their scenarios, that they want their Major League Baseball teams to actually play in their home ballparks. Now, that might work everywhere across the country but California, and maybe New York, I guess, for that matter. So I have a friend who works for the Angels, and he said, think about this. What if the Halos played their home games at Diablo Stadium in Tempe, their spring training home, or AAA Salt Lake City, where they have their AAA team, the Salt Lake City Bees. All the other major league teams could play in their home ballparks, but for the California teams, and I can't speak for New York, but at least for the California teams, they would have to find an alternative site outside of California. And the Halos, that could be two places that they could go.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they've been talking about as far as an NFL plan with the California teams. And I think the New York one's okay there because that stadium is even in Jersey. It's not even in New York itself.
Sorry, Salt Lake City. Diablo.
I mean, it could happen if Major League Baseball is that adamant about putting their teams in home ballparks, and maybe it's without fans, and we get that, just roll in the TV cameras and broadcast the games. But if they want to play in their home ballparks, that could probably fly in a lot of places. Maybe not in California, but a lot of other places. So what would our local teams do, like the Dodgers and the Angels? Where would they go? Where would that home stadium be for them if that's the scenario that Major League Baseball decides to roll out? And again, we have not heard a definitive plan. We've heard like 1,000,001 plans, but not the one say, hey, this is what we're going to do going forward.
We'll have to see.
Yes, we will have to see. And they're going to have to make a decision soon because, a month ago we're like, oh, we got time. They can work something out. And now it's like, oh, boy, what are we going to – and that goes for the NBA too. The NBA at least sounds promising. From what we've heard, it sounds promising that they're going to have something in place. We know the big NBA stars want to make it happen and have the season resume. But again, we have not heard the definitive plan. Like, here's how we're going to do it. Here's where they're going to be playing games. We're going to start with the playoffs or whatever that scenario might look like.
Right. Yeah, NBA, one of the two big ones. NBA and NHL were very much into their seasons. Seasons would have just about ending right about now. And they got to figure out how they're going to end their seasons, and then if that's going to affect the start of the next season or not for them.
Absolutely, it's going to affect it. It already has.
Yeah, it definitely will. I mean, without looking at a calendar, the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals are normally like, the first week of June? Or maybe spills in the second week of June? Like, we're almost there. Like, we would be deep in the playoffs right now.
No, it ain't happening.
Yeah. Locally, this was kind of the deflating news that we heard that California state schools, like let's say Cal State San Bernardino or a Long Beach State or Cal State Fullerton, they are all going online this fall. Now, what exactly does that mean for Division I sports like the Big West Conference? They have not said, but for Division II, which is the CC2A conference, like Cal State San Bernardino, Chico State, Sonoma State, Cal State LA, I could go on and on. They have already said no fall sports. Wow. And that's pretty sad. I mean, for our Cal State San Bernardino friends out there who are planning to play a fall sport like soccer or volleyball.
I don't like that at all because, you can already see how the spring sport athlete has already gotten kind of screwed, and now we're going to screw the fall athlete. I mean, remember, didn't they already give another year of eligibility to the spring athletes? Well, it looks like we're going to have to give another year of eligibility to the fall athletes.
Yeah, and if you're a California athlete, I think you're probably looking at your options right now. And we haven't heard from the UC system. But can you imagine if you sign a scholarship for a school in California and they're going to say, oh, we don't know what's going to happen? I mean, we could see a lot of guys and gals looking at their options to play college sports if that's the case.
Yeah, it could be rough on the Trojans and the Bruins.
It could be. And there's a rumor floating around, and I can't get it, confirmed, but like Alabama is going to open up with USC in football. Like Alabama's looking for, different opponents just in case if USC can't go.
Wow.
Smart.
So, yeah, and finally, guys, a couple more quick things. The Rams unveiled the new uniforms. Based on social media, I think people don't like them, that they're too different from their traditional uniforms. I don't. What's your guys' take?
Eric Dickerson, I know, can't stand it and says it looks like two bananas on the helmet.
Yes,
I actually don't hate it other than the bone. I don't like the bone-colored jerseys.
I think the home jersey is awesome. The color rush one, kind of hit or miss. The bone is weird.
Pep, it looks like unwashed laundry.
Here's the thing. I kind of like the uniforms, I just don't like them for the Rams. Like if you told me this was some XFL team, I'd be like, oh, those are pretty cool. But no, they're for the LA Rams. Like they've got all this tradition wrapped up in those colors and that style. It's like it's just too deviated from the original for me. But that's just
the side of it looks like an actual ram though, which I do kind of like. I have to say.
I think Patrick's coming around. I think he's slowly coming around on this right now.
If we beat the Rams, then I love the uniforms.
Hey, and don't forget this weekend, the Lady in Black Darlington NASCAR is back this weekend in Darlington, South Carolina.
Wow, NASCAR is back. Hey, it's something on the TV. Right. The kid is pumped. My kids are pumped about NASCAR.
Bring it on, man. I'm ready for those left turns.
Speaking of a left turn, Pep, time to get your stuff.
Hey, you can turn left right into Inland Sports. We're all over social media, Instagram, Twitter. We do those big. And, of course, the YouTube channel. Over 1 million views and counting. You can help us out. Check it out, Inland Sports on YouTube.
Thanks, Pep.